Sometimes, we don't realize the value of something until we're ready to let it go. Lianne learned this from a house she never wanted. After losing her job, Lianne was struggling to pay her bills. Her savings were disappearing, and she had no idea how she would start over. Then one morning, she received unexpected news. A distant relative had passed away and left her an old house. Lianne barely knew him, but the moment she saw the property, she thought about selling it. The house stood at the end of a quiet street. It was old and neglected, with dusty windows, cracked walls, and weeds covering the garden. But to Lianne, it was an opportunity. If I sell this house, I can finally get my life back. She spent the first day cleaning the rooms. While exploring the back of the house, she discovered a large garden hidden behind a wooden gate. It was completely overgrown, but beneath the weeds were old roses, fruit trees, a stone fountain, and several wooden benches. As Lianne walked through it, she heard a voice behind her. "Beautiful, isn't it?" She turned around. An elderly woman stood beside the fence. "My name is Margaret," she said. "I live next door." Lianne introduced herself. "I knew the man who owned this house," Margaret continued. "He cared deeply about that garden." Lianne looked around. "He was a gardener," Margaret smiled. "No, he was someone people came to when they had nowhere else to go." She explained that years ago, the garden had provided vegetables to struggling families. The house had offered shelter to people who had lost their homes. Children had come there to read, and neighbors had gathered there when they needed help. "He never asked for anything in return?" Lianne asked. "Never." "Why?" Margaret looked at her. "Because he knew what it felt like to need someone." Lianne was touched, but her decision hadn't changed. "I understand," she said, "but I need to sell the house." Margaret nodded sadly. "Just remember one thing. Don't destroy something before you understand its value." The next morning, workers arrived. Lianne planned to remove the garden and build an extension to increase the property's value. For several hours, they cleared the weeds and cut the smaller trees. Then one worker suddenly stopped. "There's something buried here." He dug beneath the roots of the oldest tree and uncovered a small metal box. Lianne opened it. Inside were dozens of old letters. She picked up the first one. "Dear Mr. Harris, I don't know how to thank you for helping my family." Another letter came from a young man who had been given a place to sleep when he had nowhere to go. Another was from a mother who had received food for her children. Letter after letter told the same story. Someone had needed help, and the man who owned this house had helped them. Then Lianne found one letter that made her stop. It said, "You may forget what you did for me, but I will never forget how you made me feel when I had nothing." Lianne read it twice. She looked around the garden. She thought about her own life. How many times had she needed someone? How many times had someone helped her without asking for anything? The workers were waiting for instructions. "Should we continue?" one of them asked. Lianne looked at the old tree, then at the letters. "No," she said. "Stop everything." That evening, Lianne sat beneath the tree and read every letter. The next morning, she called the contractor. "I don't want the extension." "Are you sure?" "Yes." "Then what are you going to do with the property?" Lianne looked toward the garden. "I don't know yet." But she knew one thing. She couldn't destroy it. So she stayed. She cleaned the garden. She repaired the old fountain. She opened the windows and began restoring the house. At first, Margaret was the only person who helped. Then, another neighbor joined. Then, another. Slowly, the garden began to look alive again. Lianne didn't realize it at the time, but she wasn't simply restoring an old house. She was continuing something that had started long before she arrived. And one day, she would understand exactly what that meant. Because years later, when Lianne herself would lose almost everything, the people connected to this forgotten house would come looking for her, and what they would say to her would change the way she understood kindness forever. Lianne kept working on the house. She repaired the rooms and turned one of them into a small library. The garden began producing vegetables again, and anyone who needed food could take what they needed. Children came after school to read. People stopped by to talk. Sometimes, someone simply needed a quiet place to sit. Lianne never asked them for anything. She only remembered the letters she had found beneath the old tree. Years passed. The house slowly became a place where people felt safe. And Lianne changed with it. She had once believed that having enough money meant never needing anyone. Now she understood something different. Sometimes, having people who care about you is worth far more. Then one year, Lianne's life took a difficult turn. She invested her savings in a small business. She worked hard, believing it would give her a secure future. But the business failed. Her savings disappeared. Then the debts began. She tried to recover, but nothing worked. Eventually, the old house became the only valuable thing she had left. One evening, Lianne sat alone at the kitchen table, looking at her unpaid bills. She knew what she had to do. She would sell the house. It was painful, but she didn't see another way. The next morning, she packed a suitcase. Before leaving, she walked through the rooms one last time. Then she went into the garden. She stood beneath the oldest tree, the same tree where she had found the letters years ago. Lianne placed her hand against its trunk. "I'm sorry," she whispered. She picked up her suitcase and walked toward the gate. But when she opened it, she stopped. Margaret was standing outside. Behind her were dozens of people. Lianne recognized some of them, but many were strangers. "What are you all doing here?" she asked. Margaret smiled. "We heard you were selling the house." Lianne looked down. "I have no choice." A young man stepped forward. "You do." Lianne looked at him. Slowly, she recognized him. He had been one of the children who used to read in her library. "You probably don't remember me," he said. "I do," he smiled. "You let me stay here every afternoon when my family couldn't afford books. Those books changed my life." He was now a teacher. Then a woman stepped forward. "You gave my family vegetables when we had nothing." Another person said, "You helped me find work." Someone else said, "You gave my daughter a place to study." Lianne listened silently. She had forgotten many of these moments. To her, they had been small things. A few vegetables, a book, a conversation, a little time. But to these people, they had meant everything. Lianne's eyes filled with tears. "I never expected anything from you," she said. Margaret gently held her hand. "We know." She looked at the people around her. "That is why we're here." The people had not come to buy the house. They had come to help Lianne keep it. Someone offered to help with the repairs. Someone brought food. Someone offered Lianne a job. Others simply stood beside her. Lianne looked at the garden. She finally understood. The kindness she had given had not disappeared. It had traveled from one person to another. And when Lianne needed it, it had found its way back to her. And years later, she was standing in the middle of its harvest. She didn't sell the house. Instead, she continued the work that had brought all those people together. And from that day on, whenever someone asked her why she helped people without expecting anything in return, she would smile and say, "Because I learned that nothing good is ever truly lost." We often expect life to reward us immediately, but it doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes you help someone and nothing changes. Sometimes you do something kind and nobody notices. But that doesn't mean your kindness was wasted. You may never know where it goes. You may never see the person it helps. But a good action can become a memory, a lesson, or even a new beginning in someone's life. So be careful about what you plant in the lives of others.